I never thought I'd be telling this story to anyone. It's been almost 2 months since the accident, and I still get cold sweats thinking about it. My name's Deacon, and I drive a delivery truck for work. Nothing fancy, just local routes, around my city. That morning was super foggy. I mean, you could barely see your hand in front of your face. I remember thinking maybe I should call in, but I needed the hours that week. My rent was due, and I was already behind from when my truck broke down last month. The accident happened on Highway 18, right where it curves near the old factory. 1 minute I'm creeping along in the fog. Next thing I know, there's brake lights everywhere and I'm slamming my brakes. Didn't help much. Cars were crashing everywhere. I spun out and hit the guardrail. My truck flipped twice. When I came to, there were sirens and people screaming. The paramedic told me I was lucky. 6 people died that day. 6. I walked away with just a broken arm and some cuts. The weird thing was, I felt fine, like nothing had happened. The doctor said it was probably shock. I took 3 weeks off work. My boss was cool about it. When I started driving again, I noticed something weird on my morning route. There was this blue Honda Civic that kept showing up behind me. Same license plate as one of the cars in the pileup. I remember it because the plate had 777s at the end. I tried telling myself it was just a coincidence. Like maybe they fixed the car? But then I saw a red pickup truck too. Same dents on the passenger side, same plate number. Both cars from the accident. By the second week back, I was seeing 4 different cars from the accident every day on my route. Always behind me, always the same distance back. I'd pull over, they'd drive past. Then 5 minutes later, there they'd be again in my mirror. I switched my route, started taking back roads. My boss got mad because I was late for deliveries, but I didn't care. I just wanted to avoid those cars. That's when the texts started. First one came on a Tuesday, unknown number. Just a photo of me driving, taken from behind. With those words, "You shouldn't have lived." I nearly crashed when I saw it. Called the police right away. They said they'd look into it but didn't seem too worried. Thought it was just some sick prank. The next day, another text. Different number. Same message. Same type of photo. I could see my truck, my head through the window. It was definitely taken from a car behind me. I asked my buddy who works traffic control to check the cameras on my route. He called me that night, sounding freaked out. Said he watched the footage, from when the photos were sent. There were no cars behind me. None. That's when I got really scared. Changed my whole route. Started leaving at different times. For 3 days, nothing happened. I was starting to think maybe I was just losing it from the accident. Then Friday night, I'm sitting on my couch watching TV. My phone buzzes. It's a picture of me, right there on my couch, taken from outside my living room window. You shouldn't have lived. I called the cops again. They came out, looked around, found nothing, set up some cameras around my house, said they'd keep an eye on things. Next morning, the officer calls me. Says all the cameras went dead at exactly 2:17 a.m. for exactly 6 minutes. The accident happened at 2:17 a.m. 6 people died. I'm writing this from a motel 50 miles from my house. I don't know what to do anymore. Yesterday, I got another text. It's a picture of me sleeping in this motel room. I checked out this morning, driving to my sister's place 3 states away. My phone just buzzed. It's a picture of the highway ahead of me. The exact stretch I'm driving on right now. The message is different this time. We're waiting for you at the next exit. I can see the exit sign coming up. There are 6 cars parked on the shoulder. This happened to me and my sister Aveline last year, and I still can't explain it. Me and my sister have always been close, even though she moved to Seattle for work while I stayed in Connecticut. We stayed in touch through texts mostly, but occasionally she'd send voice notes when she was walking home or too busy to type. It was our normal thing. 3 months ago, I got the first weird voice note. It was a Tuesday night, and I was folding laundry in front of the TV. My phone buzzed with Aveline's name on the screen. "Hey, just got out of that boring marketing meeting. The new client is a nightmare," her voice said through my phone. "Anyway, I'm headed to grab coffee with Jessica from work. Talk later." Nothing strange about that. I texted back a quick reply and kept folding my kids' tiny socks that never seemed to have matching pairs. The next day, another voice note came through while I was struggling to scrape burnt mac and cheese from the bottom of my favorite pot. "This weather is killing me. Nothing but rain for days," Aveline said. "I miss the sunshine. How's it there?" I remember pausing because something caught my attention in the background of her message. A faint ticking sound. At first, I couldn't place it, but then it hit me. It sounded exactly like our parents' grandfather clock from our childhood home. The one with that distinct tick that was slightly off rhythm. The one that now sits in our parents' retirement condo in Florida. I called Aveline instead of sending a voice note back. "Hey, got your message about the weather. Since when is there a grandfather clock in your apartment?" I asked. "What message? I haven't sent you any voice notes in like 2 weeks," she said. "Been too busy with this project deadline." I felt this weird, prickly feeling on the back of my neck. "But I got one yesterday too, about your marketing meeting and coffee with Jessica." "I don't even know a Jessica," she said, sounding confused. I played the messages for her over the phone. She got real quiet. That sounds like me, but I never said any of that stuff," she whispered. I called my friend Darren, who works in IT. He came over that Saturday while my husband took the kids to soccer practice. Darren confirmed both messages came from Aveline's actual phone number. He checked the timestamps. One was sent while Aveline was in a documented team meeting with her phone locked in her desk drawer, the other while she was at the gym with her phone in a locker. Over the next week, 3 more voice notes arrived. Each one sounded like normal stuff. Complaints about grocery prices, talk about a new restaurant. But each had something off in the background. One had the distinct sound of our childhood, dog barking, a dog that died 15 years ago. Another had our mom calling Aveline for dinner in the background, our mom who now barely speaks above a whisper after her throat surgery. The worst came last Friday. I was driving home from picking up pizza when my phone buzzed. I waited until I parked to listen. "I don't know why it's so cold down here," Aveline's voice whispered, lower than normal. "The basement walls are damp and I can't find the light switch." Then there was this loud banging sound, like someone hitting a pipe or a wall, and the message cut off. My hands were shaking so bad I dropped my phone. Aveline's apartment is on the 3rd floor of a building with no basement. I called her immediately, heart racing. "Are you okay? Where are you?" I asked the second she picked up. "At my desk at work." "Why? What's wrong?" She sounded worried. After I told her about the latest message, we decided she should come stay with me for a while. She booked a flight for the next morning. That night, I got one final voice note at 3:17 a.m. I was already awake, staring at the ceiling, listening to my husband's quiet snores. "I found the light switch," Aveline's voice said. "I can see her now. She looks just like me. She says she's going to visit you next." The message ended with the sound of a door creaking open. When Aveline arrived the next day, she was pale and hadn't slept. Her phone had disappeared from her bedside table during the night. We reported everything to the police, but they just filed it as a strange harassment case. It's been 3 months now. No more voice notes have come through. Sometimes I think maybe it was all some elaborate prank or technical glitch. But last week I noticed a familiar ticking sound coming from our basement. I haven't gone down to check, and I don't think I will. I never thought I'd be that guy who'd get all paranoid about security. But after Mr. Peterson 2 houses down had someone try to break into his place last month, I figured I better do something to keep me and my daughter safe. It's just us 2 now since her mom left 3 years ago, and Lila's only 9. I'd never forgive myself if something happened to her, so I bought this fancy smart security system. Nothing too crazy expensive, but it had cameras and motion sensors and all that stuff. The guy who installed it showed me how to get alerts on my phone. I'm not great with technology. I still use my old flip phone for calls. But this system was pretty simple. Just an app that dings when something moves in the house. Everything was normal for about 3 weeks. Just regular alerts when Lila would get home from school before me, or when Mrs. Kovach from next door would come feed our cat when I worked late shifts at the factory. Then last Tuesday, something weird happened. I was on lunch break when my phone dinged with an alert. Motion detected in Lila's bedroom. It was 1:27 p.m. Nobody should have been home. I opened the app with shaky fingers and checked the footage. Nothing. Just Lila's empty room. Her purple bedspread all neat like she left it that morning. Her stuffed elephant collection lined up on the shelf, the curtains still. I watched for a minute but didn't see anything move. Must be a glitch, I told myself. These cheap systems probably do that sometimes. That night, Lila asked me a weird question while I was making her mac and cheese for dinner. She was coloring at the kitchen table, not even looking up when she said it. "Dad, have you been moving my stuffed animals around when I'm at school?" I stopped stirring the pot. "No, why would I do that?" She shrugged, still coloring. "Someone keeps rearranging them. And Ellie was on my pillow today. I always leave her on the shelf." Ellie was her favorite elephant, the one her mom gave her, before she left. I told her maybe she forgot where she put it, but Lila just gave me this look, like she was disappointed I didn't believe her. The next day, I got another alert. Same time, almost exactly. 1:29 p.m. Motion in Lila's room again. This time I studied the footage really careful. At first, nothing seemed off. Then I noticed the closet door. It was closed when the clip started. Then it opened about an inch, stayed that way for maybe 20 seconds, then slowly closed again. My heart started pounding so hard I could feel it in my ears. I told my supervisor I had an emergency and drove home fast, probably breaking some speed limits. The house was quiet when I got there. I checked every room, looked under beds, in all the closets. Nothing seemed wrong, but I couldn't shake this feeling. Something just felt wrong. I decided to check the attic. We never use it. It's just this small space with a pull-down ladder you access through a panel in the ceiling of Lila's closet. I hadn't been up there since we moved in 2 years ago. When I opened her closet door, I noticed right away that some clothes had been pushed to one side. The access panel to the attic had dust on it, except for some smudges that looked like fingerprints. When I pulled it down and shined my phone flashlight up there, I saw footprints in the dust. Someone had been in our attic. With my heart in my throat, I climbed up to look around. What I found made me feel sick. In the corner was a small pile of things. Some of Lila's hair ties, her spare toothbrush from the bathroom cabinet, empty food wrappers from our pantry, and worst of all, 5 photos of Lila that had been hanging in our hallway. I hadn't even noticed they were missing. I called the police right away. While waiting for them, I checked the security footage from previous days. There were at least 6 other motion-detected alerts I'd dismissed as glitches. Each one showed the same thing, the closet door opening just a crack, then closing again. The police found evidence that someone had been accessing our house through the attic, which connected to other houses in the row. They think whoever it was had been watching us for weeks, learning our schedules. They found a small makeshift bed in our attic where someone had been sleeping, right above my daughter's room. We stayed in a hotel that night. I couldn't sleep, thinking about how many nights we'd both been sleeping in that house while someone was right above us, watching, listening, waiting. We moved out the next week. Lila still doesn't know exactly what happened. I told her there was a problem with the house. But sometimes she still asks if we can go back for Ellie the elephant, which she says she left on her shelf. The thing is, we packed all her stuffed animals. Ellie wasn't there. The police never found who it was. Sometimes I still wake up in our new apartment thinking I hear footsteps in the ceiling above us, even though we're on the top floor. And every night, I check the closets before bed, all of them. So I kinda need the money, you know? That's how it all started. Just saw this ad on my college bulletin board. $2,000 for a week-long sleep study. All I had to do was sleep at some research place for 7 nights. Easy cash, right? My name's Marzi. I'm a biology major, 2nd year, and my car broke down last month. The repair bill cleaned out my savings. When I saw that ad, I was like, yeah, I'm doing this. The place was this old building at the edge of campus. The head researcher, Dr. Valen, had this really stiff smile. He kept saying how perfect I was for the study. There were 3 other students there too, Jaden, Kira, and Rook. We signed these super long forms. I probably should have read them better. Dr. Valen explained the rules. Sleep here 7 nights, don't talk to each other about what happens, and always wear the monitoring devices. My room was small with just a bed, nightstand, and this weird machine with wires they connected to my head every night. The walls were this gross yellow color. No windows either, but they said it was to control light exposure or whatever. First, 2 nights were boring. The bed was too firm, and I kept thinking about this history paper I needed to finish. On the 3rd morning, something felt off. When Dr. Valen checked my sleep data, he got real quiet. This other researcher, thin lady, with super straight black hair, looked over his shoulder and whispered something. They both looked at me weird. "Is everything okay?" I asked. Yes, Dr. Valen said too quickly. "Your delta wave patterns are interesting." That night, I dreamed someone was standing in the corner of my room, just watching. I woke up sweating, but nobody was there. By day 4, the researchers started acting weirder. They whispered when they thought I wasn't looking. Kira looked super tired, with dark circles under her eyes. When I tried asking how she was sleeping, Dr. Valen interrupted us. That's when I decided to do something. I set up my phone to record while I pretended to sleep on night 5. I hid it under my pillow, facing out. I barely slept. Kept thinking I heard the door open and close. When morning came, I grabbed my phone and locked myself in the bathroom. The video showed nothing weird, just me sleeping in a dark room. But then, I put my earbuds in to listen closer, and that's when I heard it. Voices. Real quiet, like they were trying not to wake me. "Subject M is progressing faster than the others," a voice that sounded like Dr. Valen said. "The connection is nearly complete," another voice answered. "2 more nights and the vessel will be ready." What about the others? Failures. But this one's perfect. I felt sick. My hands were shaking so bad I dropped my phone in the sink. When I went to breakfast, Rook wasn't there. Dr. Valen said he'd withdrawn from the study, but wouldn't look me in the eye. Jaden was acting super weird too, just staring at his cereal without eating it. When I said his name, he looked at me like he didn't know who I was. During our checkup, I asked casual-like about Dr. Valen's background. He mentioned Stanford, so during free time, I Googled him. Nothing. Not a single research paper, no faculty page, nothing. Same for all the other researchers. I called the university research office. They had no record of any sleep study. Knew I had to get out. I packed my stuff and went to the front desk. Said my mom was in the hospital. Total lie, but I was freaking out. The receptionist smiled that same stiff smile and said, "Let me get Dr. Valen." I said I'd wait in the lobby, but when I got there I froze. Jaden, Kira, and Rook were sitting there in a row. Just sitting. Not talking, not looking at anything. When I waved my hand in front of Kira's face, she didn't even blink. "Guys," I whispered. Nothing. I heard footsteps behind me. Dr. Valen, and the others were coming down the hall. "Marzi," he called. "You can't leave yet. Tonight's the most important night. The connection is almost complete." I ran, just bolted out the front door and didn't stop until I reached campus security. They sent officers to check it out, but by the time they got there, the building was empty. Like, completely empty. No equipment, no researchers, no students. Nothing. The police said there was no evidence anything had happened. The university had no record of Jaden, Kira, or Rook ever being students there. It's been 3 months now. I still can't sleep right. Sometimes I wake up hearing whispers, feeling like someone's watching me. And sometimes, when I look in the mirror first thing in the morning, just for a second, I swear I see Dr. Valen's face looking back at me,